What is good, Z Nation? DailyXander 3, 6, 5. Marking an entire year-long commitment to my accountability growth project of daily uploads. That would be daily perspectives, daily thoughts, daily happenings for an entire year. Mark this date. October 20th, 2016 is when I started this. It is now October 20th, 2017. And to go forward in this video, I just want to make it clear and apparent that I'm not doing this video to promote myself or anything like that. I just want to go into detail of things I've gained from it and how it could benefit somebody out there looking for accountability. This would be a self-accountability project, and just being able to analyze yourself day in, day out. See yourself on footage, on camera. And that's a powerful tool in itself. And I just want to share with you what I've gotten from my year-long commitment with this project, and I'm going to keep it short, as in no more than 15 minutes. And I did watch about a little earlier my first video I did with this, and it was quite interesting because it was done in the hotel room I was staying in the first few months I was here in Orlando, and it was me in my hotel room just sharing about what got me interested in starting this project and why. I was looking for accountability in my life, and I was inspired by Gary Vaynerchuk, who put out the Daily V's, and that's where I got my name somewhat of the DailyXanders. Just seeing where I was in a mindset, seeing how I was talking, seeing how I was carrying myself, seeing if I had some body movement and such. Didn't really have much body movement, I'll tell you that right there. Didn't have as much hair, not like I have now. So that's also how you can see yourself change in a matter of a year, day in, day out. I mean, it's really interesting to look back on that. And hey, especially going forward 20, 30 years from now, this is a time capsule. Be able to look at myself and see where I was in a state of mind, perspective-wise, how I went about life, what was occupying my day-to-day, my life in 2016, 2017, when it's 20, 30 years later, and I can look back on that. It's been an amazing project. I highly recommend it to anybody. It really, especially when you upload a video on YouTube, you're putting yourself out there when you say, like, I'm creating this accountability project where I'm going to upload a video every single day of my thoughts, my perspectives and such. And just by doing that, you create this accountability that if you say it and it's on film and it's on the internet, well, guess what? You better follow up with it. And that's one thing I really liked, because just knowing back in my head, I knew I'm never going for viewers. I'm doing this again as a self-development, growth, awareness, perspective project, and that's what it's been, and it's been amazing. So 3 points I want to share with you, what I've gotten from it, or what it's led me, I should say, because there's many things. I can go hours long of what this project has done for me as part of my growth. There's three key components I want to touch on in this video. First one being, it's been a self-development, perspective, and awareness tool for me, how it's just benefited me tremendously. And the second one will be traveling. Third one would be the people I've connected with. So I'll go into detail a little bit about one by one. The self-development, awareness, and perspective, man, I can't tell you how powerful it is to see yourself on camera day in, day out. See how you're communicating to yourself, and you might think how funny it is to just talk to yourself, but that's certainly a skill in itself. And I've always processed it in the sense that I'm always continually working on being able to communicate with my wordage and my verbal sounds that come out of my mouth through what I'm thinking in my head, and just continually oiling the transportation of my ideas, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions that are in my head, and getting them out from my mouth, or out of my mouth. And that's always going to be a continual process, a continual practice, but I know it's something I've gotten much better on through this project. And man, just recounting a year of what I've done with self-development, massive. It originally started out with just listening to podcasts, doing my own thing, watching certain people on YouTube like Gary Vaynerchuk, Dan Pena, he's a $50 billion man, and focusing more on, you could say, self-development material through podcasts and such, which made me stumble upon London Real Academy, which I've been listening to for several years. And in May, when I documented all this, I took on the Life Accelerator program, which was a 6-week online course connected with you, 50 plus other like-minded individuals that just wanted to enhance their lives through daily, consistent, habitual practices, success habits. And I'm really glad I did that before what I have going on right now, which is having a mentor in my life, which is continually helping me develop my mindset, continually developing how I think, continually helping me with getting to where I want to go and such. And it's just, this whole project just opened up doors, infinite doors, and it's going to continue to open up doors. Just how I connect with people. When I mentioned, probably after 150 episodes or so, I would eventually, I don't even know when I first told somebody about this project, other than maybe my parents, but I don't even know when I told my parents. This is mainly just for me. And it kind of stemmed with, I wasn't really necessarily proud of it until I hit like a certain number, in a sense, where I wanted to mention to somebody. Because when you start a project like day 1, day 2, all the way up to day 10, or whatever the case may be, I'm just giving you an example. You don't want to necessarily tell people right off the bat because you haven't really built up a groundwork or foundation. And I feel like by 150, 160 or so, episode 160, that's when I really started to mention it every now and then to people, and it became a connective tool, because from there it sparked, and I'm skipping on my second point, which was travel, going to connecting with others right now, people I've connected with, and it's created a way for me to connect with people, the DailyXanders, which have originally started by me just filming my thoughts with myself, maybe showing you a little bit about the environment around me, to then incorporating people where I'll just ask them one question. What do you want to do before you die? And hearing their answers, going back to the perspectives I've gained from that. Tremendous. And then evolving to where I now do podcasts, have a one-on-one, deep inner perspective at times, conversation. Really have deep talk, no small talk, but deep talk. Really focus more on family, what do they do, recreation, dreams, and things along that nature. And it's just been fascinating, the scenarios that I've essentially created. At one point, getting down to go to my second point, travel. I've traveled so much in a year. It's mind blowing. I might have missed some points on here. I'll rattle off all the places I've gone just this past year, but it's mind blowing. The scenarios that I've created through the DailyXander and podcasting. There was a point when I was with 2 of my friends in Ireland in a hostel in Dublin, and we decided to do a podcast, a 3-person podcast in the basement of this hostel. And in probably about 5 or 10 minutes into it, all of a sudden this random person we've never met before, who was also staying in the hostel, walked down the basement and was getting maybe hot water or something like that. And he saw us all 3 sitting in a line at the edge of the table, talking in front of the camera. And he gave kind of a funny look, and then I just right off the bat I was like, "Hey man, we're doing a podcast. Do you want to join us?" And he, sure enough, just pulled up a chair and sat next to us, and he instantly got in to the conversation and shared and opened up about himself. And it was just amazing. Like, that would not have otherwise have happened, as far as that. Maybe we might have said hi to him if we were just down there without a camera doing a podcast. But it wouldn't have been this long format of really creating a meaningful, purposeful, of sharing, of perspectives, our thoughts, our ideas, our life. And that's one thing, there's many things, but that's one thing I've really enjoyed most about the DailyXanders. Not only does it help me say things I need to do, put it out there, keep me accountable. Although I didn't follow up with the sugar, I'll tell you that. But I did a good job though. Gotta give myself some self-credit. But all the traveling I've done in a year, and documenting everywhere I've gone, I've done it with the DailyXander. And I'm so grateful. I'm only 23 and I have the self-awareness. I set this year-long goal to do this, and I'll be able to look back as long as YouTube doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. I can look back on these videos and get a little glimpse of where I was at during this time of my life and seeing where I traveled and such. I started out going to Miami. That was a little for a job interview. Then later on, this would have been in February or March, potentially, Oklahoma City, where going back to connecting with people. I had a one-on-one meeting, 20-minute meeting with Dan Pena, the $50 billion man. Amazing. Then I went to Miami later on, where I went to the Ultra Music Festival. Then I went to Las Vegas for a day. And then to go see my good buddy, who originally I know from Alaska, in Omaha. And then later on, earlier in the year, I went to Europe for about 2 weeks, where I went to England, Ireland, Iceland, and Amsterdam, and met up with people I originally knew in Australia, but then also befriended many people while there and still in touch today. And I'm very humble and grateful and appreciative of meeting people like that and staying in contact. Because it really, again, goes back to perspective. And we created so many memories with each other, but also through the DailyXander. I cannot speak highly enough about if you're an ambitious person, you find yourself in a little rut, and you need a challenge, you need a goal for yourself, you want to improve yourself, self-development, film yourself on a day-to-day basis, set a timeline, how long you're going to do it, and witness and observe and analyze what happens. Because you'll notice things about yourself, and it'll spark ideas, it'll lead you to think bigger thoughts, have bigger dreams. And this is one other thing I want to share before I'm almost done with this video, because it's almost 15 minutes. Man, does it go by fast. You talk about perspective and awareness, my sense of urgency got heightened when I started to become a volunteer for hospice, where I volunteer at the inpatient unit on the weekends at the front desk, and I interact with family members who are there to see their loved ones who are passing, and just being in that environment, seeing death on a week-to-week basis, and then also being part of a vigil program, which I'm actually going to do right after this. I have a vigil scheduled to go see a patient, and my perspective on life, as far as things I want to do before I die, that's how that question originally got about, is because of me volunteering and going through an exercise where we had to list out things we want to do before you die, and I had this massive list, and it made me just realize, like, I'm 23, but at the same time flies by, so I need to make sure I'm doing everything in the allocated amount of time I have. We all have 24 hours a day, but being disciplined about it and making sure and going about it with intention and purpose to make sure I fulfill what I want to do before I die. And really a big thing throughout this entire process, I've been developing my why, my purpose, my desire, my intentions, to then where I've never complained hardly at all in the past couple of years, but especially this entire year, I've never complained. And that's something I'm going to carry around with me as part of a lot of the successful habits that I've gotten from this. I can't say enough how I've truly grown from the process. Highly recommend it. People I've met through it continue to meet, and even throughout this process, I'm so excited going forward for me in the future. I'm going to be traveling all over the world now. Going to London here in a couple of weeks to continue on with my life, and looking forward to it. I'm going to take a break a little bit from the DailyXanders. 365 is a stopping point right now. But I'm going to still do podcasts, as I'm doing one tomorrow. And I look forward to really recounting a lot of the events that happened during this whole entire year, because I can't say it all in 15 minutes. There's only so much I can cover, but I can just truly tell you I'm in such a great place of mind in life because of this. I'm in a great place now. 6-word story. Over and out. DailyXanders 365. Oh yeah!